if Hillary Clinton becomes the president, because and similarly, you may remember when people were talking about Tessa Jowell maybe getting the Labour ticket to run for the Mayor of London. Many felt that was significant because we need more women in high-profile positions, and that would have been a huge statement because since Thatcher, there hasn't been one politically.
Yes.
And similarly with Sadiq Khan, I mean, you're right. I don't know whether the black-white relations in the United States, some would say it's got even worse, wouldn't they, after what's been happening with the police. But I don't know whether if Hillary Clinton became the president, would that be a game changer for feminism and equality?
Oh, absolutely, yes. But that's a different ballgame altogether. That would really, definitely make a difference, just as it did with Thatcher.
But you don't think religion works in the same way?
No. I don't think it would, to tell you the truth. Not in this context. There are much more effective ways of enhancing cohesion. I think not just non-Muslim ethnic groups. I think Muslim groups should make an effort as well. And I'm just going to touch on this the burqa, which you touched on before. I still think that the Muslims themselves can take measures in order to enhance cohesion. Now, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again. The head cover and the dress and the modest dress wear and so on and so forth. That's fine. Yeah. But covering your face and just exposing your eyes, that doesn't really help cohesion. And to tell you the truth, in Islam, that's not even essential.
No, I agree.
To tell you the truth, dressing up as a nun, nun is very modestly dressed up, and that is suffice. And if they can, that is in more or less fulfills the Islamic criteria as far as women's dress wear is concerned. So measures like that, removing, I think the last time you had a chat with a woman, and she said, a non-Muslim, she said, she wants to say hiya to any passerby, but she's a bit reluctant to say, hello to a person with a burqa, with a face cover. And it's things like these which can make a huge difference.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much. 0345 6060 973. We're stacked to the brim with your calls on this one. Would a Muslim mayor be a good thing for religious relations in this country? Also coming up,
you don't know what's going to happen to you, and here at least we know our human rights and stuff. In England, we've got better quality of life.
It's an interesting story I'll bring you just after the next news about Syrian immigrants. Do you change your view on the amount of immigrants that should come to this country from Syria if we were talking solely about lone children, orphaned children? What's your view on that? That one's on its way. We'll chat to John in Paddington in just a moment. LBC News Time. It's just a little after 11:30. And Charles Rowe has the latest headlines.
Police are investigating a report of an historic rape. Claims that MP Simon Danchuk has called malicious and untrue. The Labour MP for Rochdale says he's confident his name will be promptly cleared. A sister from North London says she needs to know whether her brother is in the latest Islamic State group execution video. Kanika Dar admits the voice sounds a bit like Siddhartha Dar, but doubts whether it's him. Junior doctors in England will take part in a series of strikes, something the Health Secretary has called extremely disappointing. Talks have failed to agree fully over pay and conditions. The first action takes place next Tuesday. And a study claims top executives will have already been paid more by late afternoon tomorrow than the average worker makes in a year. The High Pay Centre has calculated FTSE 100 bosses were paid on average nearly £5 million a year in 2014. LBC weather, showery and cold into Tuesday for London and the southeast, lows of 8 degrees overnight. Rain clearing to leave a dry day with some sunny spells, highs of 10 degrees. Cloudy with patchy showers for parts of England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Heavy rain for the north and Scotland, where there is now an amber warning in force during Tuesday. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Charles Rowe.
This is LBC, London. When you run your own business, you are everything. Boss, secretary, customer services advisor. But thanks to KPMG Small Business Accounting, there's one thing you don't have to be: accountant. With prices starting from £125 a month, your very own UK-based accountant can help with tax, year-end and online accounting, leaving you more time for everything else. Visit kpmgsmallbusiness.co.uk. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Larry, and he's happy? He's happy because his block management is taken care of by Older Martin, Baines and Cuthbert. And now, thanks to ABC, Larry's found that queries are dealt with swiftly and with competitive costs. Plus, Larry knows what it's like to have an agent he can trust. You too can be as happy as Larry. Call ABC Estates on 0800 888 6688 and ask for our block management team. Older Martin, Baines and Cuthbert. Call 0800 888 6688 or visit abcestates.co.uk.
As a professional voiceover artist, cold and flu can really with my schedule. Indeed, it's utterly to turn up to a recording when you feel this. Fortunately, this is an ad for Lemsip Max All-in-One. Its max strength formula starts to tackle those nasty cold and flu symptoms in just 5 minutes, so I can get on with my job. Lemsip Max All-in-One capsules, part of our best ever range, now in Sainsbury's. Subject to availability, contains paracetamol. Always read the label.
Late Nights with Ian Collins on LBC.
It is interesting, isn't it? The kind of the spectrum of responses on this one that I didn't quite expect, strangely. Ali Jones says there is no Muslim PR issue. Really? Really? You think not? You think the police are making it up? That Islamophobic attacks have gone up by between 300% and 700% in the last year? You think that's been made up? Did you not see what happened in Paris? You don't think there's a PR issue surrounding Islam? He says there's a media-propagated anti-Muslim issue that needs addressing. I would love you, Ali, to sit down and tell me where the heck you think that has come from. What you're saying is, in fact, arrant nonsense. You won't find your own theory borne out anywhere. You will find people who have views all over the place, whether that's in a newspaper, on a radio station, on TV, on Twitter. What you won't find is some kind of constructed anti-Muslim propagated narrative that has been designed collectively to malign Muslims. That's just nonsense. Hannah says, I enjoy listening to the show, however, I'm not sure what the religion of someone has to do with electing them to the position of mayor. If we take your argument further, then should we elect Zach because he's Jewish? Well, no, because I don't think that there is a need to a need to represent Jewish figures in this country. I don't think there's an issue with Jewish representation in this country. You could find that in all manner of places in the United Kingdom. In fact, there are conspiracy theories that there are too many Jews in high-profile positions. It's nonsense, by the way. Statistically, it's nonsense. But I don't think there is overall an issue surrounding that. There is an issue in the same way that we would have it with, women. If we had, for example, a mayor in a wheelchair, yeah, sure, we could feel all good and great and go, so what? Nothing wrong with that. That would be a massive story. People that were 100 years ago locked in a prison cell because they couldn't walk straight, and in some cases killed under some regimes, to have somebody who has a severe disability running the mayoral office would be a massive statement. Having a female as a prime minister, lover or hater, was a massive statement. If we have a female president of the United States, it will be a massive statement. All different groups finding their first rung on a ladder of high-profile position, whether it's politics, sport, TV, wherever it happens to be, are clearly all big statements. And I simply ask the question whether, if we had a Muslim mayor, whether that would begin the process of addressing one of the issues that we have in this country at the moment. John's in Paddington. John, what are your thoughts?
Good evening.
Hi.
I didn't know that Sadiq Khan was Muslim until you mentioned it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I might have guessed by his name, but you drew up a little scenario going back in time to 1960 to an East End pub.
Yeah.
Most of those drinkers would be descendants of Jews, Irish,
yeah.
and Huguenots and others. And the question isn't as I understand it, and I'm looking up from his Wikipedia page, he was born in London.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
Sure.
He's a Londoner, and that's what I want. I want one of our own to represent us.
No, I think, yes, if we're having the debate about the mayor, then that's fine. But this, I suppose, looks at it the other way round. Does the Muslim community, does our community, the country, need people like Sadiq Khan to get themselves into high positions in order to address what is clearly a growing concern for many people?
Yeah, but I mean, I speak as a Londoner, and I believe that this fella is just as good as anybody else.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I like Boris Johnson. I've got nothing against Boris Johnson, and he stood up for London interests, and he always pushed London as diversity.
Sure.
And he is a Londoner, you know, from Kensington, but he's a Londoner. And you know,
Hang on, you're in Paddington, not exactly.
Yeah, I know, I'm
exactly
next door,
Newham,
so-
John, is it?
Born in Maida Vale, so you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, you are right to a point that we do need people of diversity in positions of high office, and I don't think you get much more important job than the Mayor of London. But as you've got this lunatic in the United States wanting to ban Muslims from entering the United States, it'd be a bit of a sad thing that Mayor of London couldn't visit the United States.
Oh, that's a brilliant point.
You mean?
So, yeah.
I mean, what would
John,
happen
you're
then?
calling on that. I so wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah. So you know, it's
You had, Boris Johnson appears on the Letterman show in the States when he goes over there, because they like his, you know,
Yeah.
his turn of phrase, so they chuck him on the talk shows, and they probably just laughing at him as much as with him. But yeah, Sadiq wouldn't be able to go because
Yeah.
Donald Trump would have banned him.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, the thing about Hillary Clinton, that is a big step forward, but quite frankly, it's the most relevant choice. It's the most person who's got the most credentials.
What about, hang on, there's Jeb Bush.
Well, no, I mean, well, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? I'll give him...
Yeah, but why do you reckon to be the acceptable face of Bushism, if you like?
Yeah, well, talking of
But he has the
gender...
personality of a house brick, that's the trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah, that doesn't help him much.